The European Parliament has voted to remove one of its vice presidents in what's being described as one of the biggest corruption scandals in the institution's history. Lawmakers voted to strip Eva Kaili of all her roles during an emergency sitting in Strasbourg. She's one of 4 people linked to the European Parliament to be arrested and charged over allegations that the World Cup host Qatar bribed them with cash and gifts to influence decision-making. Kaili has denied any wrongdoing, as has Qatar. Well, let's talk to our correspondent Alex Cadier, watching events for us in Brussels. Alex, so an overwhelming majority voting to remove Eva Kaili, but she hasn't been found guilty of any crime.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. This scandal is going to keep rumbling on here in Brussels. 625 MEPs voting to strip her of her title and to end her tenure as Vice President, 1 voting against and 2 abstaining. So, as you said, that overwhelming majority. The implication there is that the Parliament views that she has been found guilty or at least has been involved in some serious misconduct. And that's part of the criticism that you're also hearing in Brussels, is that, well, we need to let the judicial process run its course, and for the innocence before being proven guilty to be maintained in the case of Eva Kaili and others in this case as well. As you said, she's not been found guilty by a court. She has been charged, one of 4 people charged. And so there is criticism of the European Parliament, but it is clear that the Parliament is moving very, very swiftly to distance itself and to make it clear that it will not tolerate even allegations of corruption, as we've seen unfold in the last few days and over the weekend. Now, those 4 people have been charged with corruption, but as you said, that's been linked to Qatar, but the Qatar authorities vehemently denying any involvement and denying any wrongdoing. So this situation is going to be ongoing. What we do know is that the people who have been charged, cash was seized from bags in 3 different properties. 600,000 euros in one, multiple hundreds of thousands of euros in another, and 150,000 euros in a bag in Eva Kaili's Brussels apartment. Now, the latest details we've had just in the last few moments is that more than 1.5 million euros have been seized by Kaili and Panzeri in this scandal. So that is the latest from Le Soir newspaper here in Belgium. So this is going to definitely keep rumbling on, and possibly the biggest corruption scandal Europe has ever seen.
Alex, can you just talk us through a timetable, if that's possible? I mean, this is obviously part of an ongoing investigation. So what happens next?
Yeah, well, what happens next is a pre-trial hearing behind closed doors tomorrow in Brussels. The federal court here in Belgium will be hearing the pre-trial motions from the defences of those 4 individuals. That will be behind closed doors. We said, well, can we, as journalists, be in attendance? No, it will be absolutely sealed off to the press and to the public. At the moment, that is very much a first step, a pre-trial hearing, initial discussions. We know that Eva Kaili is being held in a Belgian prison just outside of Brussels. So that is where we stand on the judicial front. But the political fallout will happen much, much faster. It has already started happening. 4 members of the European Parliament who are linked to the Socialist and Democrats coalition group that Eva Kaili was a part of have already stepped down from their positions of responsibility, and that includes the chair of the subcommittee on human rights, Maria Arena. Now, that's not to say that any of these individuals who have been asked to step down or who have stepped down from their roles of responsibility have done anything wrong. No wrongdoing has been proven, but it does mean that there is a sense in Brussels that they are politically too close to this particular scandal, too close to these corruption allegations, and therefore couldn't feasibly maintain positions of responsibility in the Parliament. So the political fallout will keep happening. Very strong words by the European Parliament President Roberta Metsola yesterday, saying European democracy is under attack, and people who opt for a bag of cash will always be found out, and they must know that they will always be found out. So this will keep rumbling on in the weeks to come.